Better. Okay, that's better. Okay, so my live, for some reason, Instagram live is retarded. This is how you know I'm old, because I don't be knowing how to work this shit in real life. Um, but I was talking about serial killers before my live ended, and unlocking the mind of a fucking serial killer, guys. So I was talking about Ted Bundy because I find him very fascinating. I don't know why. The man is just fascinating to me. But like I said on my live, we found out like a lot of facts about serial killers. So there's not just say that majority of the serial killers are Caucasian American, or some form of Caucasian. Not too many are black. Not too many are Hispanic. Um, but I like to figure out what makes them tick and what makes them go boom. So we're going to um talk about Ted Bundy as soon as I find the man. Okay. So, do everybody know who Ted Bundy is? If not, he's an American serial killer. Now, when you talk about serial killers, you have to also, like, kind of know the difference between a mass murderer and a serial killer. So, we're going to figure out what is the difference between the two. Okay, there you go. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Great. Now we're in there. All right. So we're going to talk about the difference between a mass murderer and a serial killer. Okay, so you guys can know what is the difference, because not everybody knows, not everybody understands the concept of a mass murderer and a serial killer. Okay. Okay, so according to this, the main difference between a mass murderer and a serial killer is the number of victims killed in each incident and the time frame in which the killings occur. So, to break that down, give me 1 second. Hold on. Done. Um, so, a mass murderer kills 3 or more people in a single incident at a single location without a cooling off period. Mass murderers often use the same method for all victims and may die at the scene of the crime. Common motives for mass murderers include revenge, grand odyssey, and his desire for attention or fame. A serial killer kills 2 or more people over a period of time with a cooling off period between each murder. Serial killers may use different methods to kill their victims and may go to great lengths to avoid detection. The FBI says the motives for serial killing can include anger, thrill seeking, financial gain, attention seeking. Victims of serial killers may have things in common, such as demographic profile, appearances, gender, or race. That is the difference between mass murder and serial killers. The big difference for me is the profile of how serial killers pick their victims. Um, so it could be one serial killer it could be a race thing. They don't like Asians. They're gonna go kill a bunch of Asians. Certain amount of Asians a certain amount of time cooling off. They may like to kill in the woods. The woods is their hunting ground. That's a demographic location. Appearance, they might resemble an ex-girlfriend or their mother. Gender, male or female, or uh, others. Um, my biggest thing was, how do serial killers live double lives? So let's see. So it says that developing a deceptive persona and compartmentalizing their identities is how they do it. So they may appear normal members of communities, such having families, homes, and jobs. They also take on different roles, such as family men, church leaders, Boy Scout volunteers, and they can easily transition from these roles. Some examples are Dennis Rader, also known as the BTK killer. Rader was a devoted family man and company man who murdered 10 people in Wichita, Kansas area from 1974 to 1991. Another one is Rex Herman, an architect and family man who lived in Ramshackle home in Massapequa Park. Those are some examples. Of how they were able to normalize their existence.
There we go. See, I'm here.
Okay.
I sent Unc this link. I hope he backstage. He might be backstage already. No, you don't see nobody.
No, I only see me and you so far.
Maybe you're setting up. You might be setting up.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Hey, what's good, everybody?
what's good, Unc?
Man, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me. I'm trying to. Let me. All right.
All right. So now I'm gonna work off my phone while I do this. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah.
So I always like to unlock the mind of serial killers because I think they're fascinating individuals. I think they're people. But we want to know what makes them tick and how they do this stuff and why they do it.
Right.
I was just explaining what the difference between a mass murderer and a serial killer is. Serial killers pick a profile, pick a location, pick a race, pick a gender. Mass murderers, it's just the time and place, and depending on their agenda for the day.
Yeah.
Right.
America has some of the most sadistic serial killers that went undetected for the longest.
Right.
But these people can transition to normal lives. I gave 2 examples of men who lived normal lives, who killed people by night. I thought it was crazy. But we're going to figure out what makes a serial killer, because there's ways that people can be, like I said, born or made into the sadistic mindset.
I wanted like, since Unc, this is like his first time here. I wanted like you to like introduce yourself to Unc and and Freezy.
Yeah, I was gonna do that. So I want to first introduce myself to Miss Queen. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I know it's impromptu, so I appreciate the fact that you kind of maneuvered things so that we can all get together and chat. So salute and thank you for that. To your crowd, to your audience, the ones that are watching this live or the ones that are watching this on replay, I'm saying salute to you because you may be a brand new audience and not know who I am. So I'm a straightforward communicator that's a complicated and complex thinker at times. So sometimes what I say based on what I'm thinking may come across as maybe trolling the crowd at times. But I am old enough to understand that as individuals, we all think differently and on different wavelengths at times. And some of us are bold enough to actually say what we're thinking, and others have the governor on, so to speak. So they may not say what they're thinking, but want to ensure that they don't rock the boat. So I'm more in that I'd rather for you to know who I am as much as possible, of course, keeping my safety in mind, but I like to be as straightforward as I can because I think the world, this internet is a means for us to communicate truths that are hidden. And at the same time, share our experiences, hoping that what we have can help somebody else get through stuff. So that's my little introduction, Trevor. So.
Yeah, that's dope.
For many of you that don't know or new here or do know that are very familiar with me, my name is Irene. I go by Queen of Kink. I do promote everything sex, but I'm also more than just that. I'm also a mom. I go to school full time. I work full time. I dibble and dabble in different learning aspects and different things that intrigue me. Might not intrigue you, but I like it. Outside of the world of dominatrix and submission, so I got bored. I guess so. I'm utilizing my bored time and trying to educate people. I go to school for criminal justice, so this stuff has always been my passion to learn about different things in the criminal justice world, especially the serial killers, because a lot of times we do have to write papers on things that we talk about or things that we feel like are important to bring to the table. And for me, right now, I like serial killers. Some people think that's a little insane. To me, it's not, because you want to know those signs and just who's around you, because a lot of people, they hide in plain sight. They, like I said, they have normal lives a lot of times. So, you could be living next door to a serial killer, wouldn't even know it. They're really good at it for a really long time. On my Instagram live, I did talk about Tupac and Biggie, their deaths, the impact it did have on the hip hop community, how there's a lot of questions that are still unanswered. We talked about the Twin Towers, the first bombing attempt, to successful bringing down of the towers, and how the war on terror and the justice system and how they changed their approach on terrorism, and how sometimes when you group a certain religion together, how it's not fair to target people based on a religion. We also talked about Jeffrey Dahmer, sadistic ass man. We talked about the mass shooting on the Allah Dawar that happened in '93. We talked about a lot of stuff. This is like random topics all over the board. Then we was talking about serial killers. I was talking about Ted Bundy for internet connections got in the way. So I started off with basically breaking down what a mass shooter is and a serial killer is, because a lot of times people don't know the difference. We're not going to group them in the same category because they're not the same. There's a very big difference. Serial killers, they take a cooling period, time off. Mass shooters, they just get it done right there in the moment. Um, there's usually an agenda behind what they're doing, and serial killers is more on a profile. So, like, if you guys watch like Criminal Minds, the behavior unit, they profile the serial killers. They profile what makes them tick, like whether it's a gender, race, a certain area. Like, how can they be caught? These serial killers eventually they do get caught, or they just eventually die. Everybody gets sloppy over time. But there are so many factors on serial killers and how you will never know that even the person laying next to you can be a serial killer, whether it be male or female. But it just goes on. Do you notice the signs of a person? Even when they're smaller, you can kind of tell, especially in younger children. Like, if you actually pay attention, like online, it says some characteristics of serial killers include lack of empathy or guilt, personality disorder, massive sanity. Sometimes it could be hormones, brain damage, genes, which should be very surprising, and social structure. So, anything can make or your child can be born.
Well, Quinn, let me ask you this: can a person turn on and off those things based off environmental factors? Like, can a person become that, say, off of a trigger, like maybe domestic abuse as a kid? Maybe, you know what? A good example. I use this one. It just popped in my mind. Have you seen those movies by DC, The Joker,
Yes.
where
Also
the kid was abused?
Mhm.
And he'd wind up turning into one thing, but in actuality, it may be something that he inherited from his mom, who
Right.
had the same type traits, but we didn't know that until you delved into his backstory. Like, you were
Yeah.
told one story and you believed it for maybe 30 or 40 years, and then when you find out the backstory, it may not just been the level of abuse at home by multiple boyfriends and multiple stepdads. And the reason why there may have been multiple boyfriends and stepdads is because of maybe the level of mental unhealth by a parent.
Yeah.
So is that something that you consider, or is that maybe comic book stuff and there's maybe too many details into it? Maybe it's just fiction.
No, you have to look into a person's background. Hold on, give me a second. Someone is knocking.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff can go into their mental and how it affects them, especially if they're young, and then as they get older, how it affects them, as a grown adult. The Joker movie, like you could see, like when he was at work, he was getting teased and picked on, and he was already grown. And then coming home, he had the same issues at home. I think everything just came to a boiling point where he just lost it and he went nuts and, took it out on society.
Right.
Hi, I'm back. Yeah, when you unlocking the mind of these individuals, you have to look at their backstories because that plays a very big part in what happened, what went wrong, what triggered, what chemical malfunction or brain matter then switched.
Right.
So you always have to look at the genes. Like with Jeffrey Dahmer, what I learned is that his dad felt guilty because he felt like that he created the monster by introducing some mummifying animals. So it just depending on the situation of the child's home life. Like me and Tribal was talking about with R. Kelly. He was a victim himself who turned into a predator. A lot of people are that go into these sadistic modes were victims themselves. We're never condoning the outcome that they take, but we also have to understand that there could be trauma behind this. What caused them to just snap and start picking people that, they want to kill? With serial killers, like I said, is a profile. It could be just a certain gender. They might just want to attack men, slaughter them. They might want to go after women. A demographic like with women, sometimes it could be certain features, certain hair colors. The person might look like their mom. Like somewhere in that, you have to figure out why they picked that area or pick that person or pick that specific gender or race. Like you have to understand it. And it gets tricky sometimes because it's like you gotta crucify these people because it's like, why? These are innocent people to us, but to them, seeing them might have triggered something in their brain for them to go slaughter those 20 people in that moment. And it's sad because we know what they're doing is wrong.
Right.
But to them, this is a normal factor.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. The thing that gets me when I hear about topics like this one is the empathy that should be shown from one side is not going to be reciprocated by the other side. Right. And so, but both sides are going to look at each other as if they're mortal enemies. Right. Like in terms of, and I don't mean that. And when I say enemies, I don't mean like war enemies where you have to kill the serial killer. You just want to catch that person and stop them. Right. But the person on the other side is thinking that they're trying to stop me from doing this thing that I'm destined to do. Because a lot of times when I do watch those shows, and I don't watch many, like I'll be honest with you, to be honest, I don't watch those type of shows because I don't want to have the feeling of being in Applebee's and one of the people at the next table could be a serial killer. I don't want to have those thoughts in my mind as somebody that I feel as if I'm stable. You know what I'm saying? But so do serial killers. You know, they feel like they're stable, also like they're regular, and something's wrong with everyone else or the people that are their targets. I mean, so I always felt like either it's a emotional void that they can't fill, right? Like there's some type of emotional out of balance thing that they can't fill, or it's legit a carnal thing where they don't have inhibitors to prevent them from doing those type of things, like the little kids that you know catch him, like your friend that used to catch frogs and put firecrackers in their mouth. That person that just like to watch frogs or whatever, the one that liked to take the BB gun and shoot at cats and things of that sort, the one that didn't have the inhibitors in place to know that's wrong, right? And they gradually go from those acts to, you know, graduate over time until they do the first thing, the first case that they get, and they that sense of exhilaration for them of getting away with unalive people, right? And so I don't watch the drama like my wife watches though all day, like at 8 o'clock. I know not to bother her, right? Because she gonna watch that show, and then she gonna watch the cleanup show. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, like how they have the emergency show, and then the PD show that come on afterward, and then the investigator lawyer show that come on afterwards. It's like the whole night of that stacked on top of each other. Yeah, like I can't sit down for that because I don't like you know the fire breakout in a 50-story building and a firefighter got to carry 200 pounds of equipment up to the top floor and get some. I don't want to see that, bro. Right? Because our lives in real life are stressful enough, not maybe to that extent. Not because, you know, in real life we stress over decisions like, man, I didn't take that chicken out and I still froze what I'm gonna eat for dinner. Those type decisions stress us out, right? Versus really, really, really complicated stuff like, you know, whatever. And for my people that's in New York, y'all surrounded by stuff every day. every day is something. And for my people in New York, salute to y'all, because y'all have to maneuver the lesser of all those evils in an area that's got about 30 million people in it, and you don't know if a person is unstable or not.
Right.
There was a thing where people were throwing people off the train platform. You can't even go home without the risk of being thrown in front of a train by random people. And it's a trend.
It's still happening. It's still going on. So I mean, it's, you know, when we in the subway, we gotta look and stay away from the edge of the platform, because you never know.
Yeah.
I don't get on the train, honestly. I try to avoid it at all costs. Nope, you won't get you on the train. The fare, not so much the fare, but like I feel like why am I paying $2.90 to get robbed, shot, pushed, jumped by some 14, 15-year-old kids because they fucking bored of the day? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fight about kids. That's an assault charge I don't want to catch. Like, you know, people kids out here a little wild, and then you got the kids subway surfing and stuff like that. So it's like, no, I try to avoid it.
Do they have kids that are that age that do stuff like that? Do they have emotional voids, or is that just thrill seeking?
That's thrill seeking. That's peer pressure and thrill seeking, because a lot of those kids see it. Like, I feel like with social media, because everything is taped and recorded now, these kids glorify the things they see on social media. Right. And I feel like parents don't have a good grasp on their children. Like, I'm kicking in doors. I'm checking phones. I want to know who, what, when, where, why you're talking to this person. Even with my own children, my 12-year-old, with him online gaming, I'm like, don't add nobody you don't know, because people are really sick. It's how these kids go missing, because these adults sit behind these computer screens and these game consoles and lure these children out. Even with my 7-year-old, she's very into Roblox and gaming too. Like, don't add strangers. Don't talk to nobody you don't know. Like, I warn my kids about online predators all the time. Right. And because I don't come from a generation of online gaming, so I educate myself on the world that's outside of this. For my case study, when I first got my first degree in criminal justice, I did a case study on child sex trafficking exploitation. And a lot of people think it's fake. I'm like, no, it's a $9.4 billion industry. I'm like, your politicians are the ones selling the children. The people that you're electing office are behind this. Like, let's not be oblivious to the stuff that goes on right underneath our noses. So even with that,
that's been going on for centuries also. So it's not like this is new. I think people have found a new way to do it without getting caught. But even the transatlantic slave trade, right? A lot of those people, a lot of the humans that was trafficked from one place to another were not older, unhealthy individuals. They were young, healthy individuals that can work and reproduce when they got to the Americas. You're not going to grab a 50-year-old. You're going to grab a 13-year-old, you know, a 17-year-old if you can catch them. Right. That was their thing. I understand what you're saying about that. I too have some background in criminal justice. I graduated from the South Carolina Criminal Justice Academy in 2000. And so while I was in law enforcement, I was a detention officer. Right. So I didn't, wasn't on the streets, like that. But just being, say, in a pod is what you call it. It's jail. It's like in a pod. You go in a pod. It's like all these cells in a pod or whatever. I don't know if you ever did that type of work or not. I'm just describing it for the audience. But even in a pod with all those cells in it, say 35 cells on the bottom, 35 on the top, and 2 people in each cell. You got a lot of times about 100 people. Like, all the cells are not going to be. But even with that, you have 100 different personalities, and they're all locked in one place and can't go anywhere. And you, as the officer being in there, you are one of them, because once you start your shift, that's where you are, right?
Yeah.
And so even in there, you find out people really have odd behavior, and it's odd behavior based on the way that they're wired, right? Like they don't get locked up and then become something else. Generally, when they get locked up, all the inhibitors they had on the outside that kept them from going to jail, they don't have to display them no more, because guess what? They're in jail. So you don't have to stop doing stuff in case you go to jail, because now you're in jail. And so, and you see, and Queen, not to change the topic, but since you went there with the conversation, right? But not to not to change the topic, but a lot of the things that you see people do in jail, like you see like their sexual tendencies come out, like the dudes you see on the street that's Timboed out, tattooed on the neck and stuff, face tattoo, what I'm saying, jewelry, all that stuff, and you see them in there with their shirt tied with a knot in the front. And you're like, yo, when this happened? Yeah, I just went home. I got off Friday night, and I come back, and that now you sagging now.
My brother? I have an older brother who was in the closet for a really long time.
Right.
He went to jail at 16. And before he came home, he had messaged my mom, like he sent her a letter about a girl named Angel. My mom thought it was like some girl he met on the visiting floor. I said, no, Ma, that's a woman that's in jail right now, a transgender woman that's in jail. That was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So he came out to my mom in that letter. My mom was really confused. My mom was very sick. My mom had seizures, so she would really forget a lot of the stuff. So like talking to her was really hard.
Yeah, hard to hear that too.
My mom, she was a real funny lady. God rest her soul. But the girl came to the house with her daughter, and I'm looking. My mom looking. I'm looking at this little girl, looking at the lady. I'm a teenager. I'm in high school, so I'm like really confused at how you explain this to your kid, like how you have that conversation. My mom was really confused. She was like, I really do love your son. Which was very weird, because my brother then went on, when he came home, to get in several different relationships with different women. He got one baby mother, then he got married. That didn't work out. Now he went to the second wife, but then he cheats on the wife with men and women. So I don't ever think he really accepted his own sexuality. So I always felt like, I wouldn't say all men, but a lot of men do put on that look like I'm hard. But actuality, a lot of them be down low. And it's okay if you're not ready to come out to the world. That's your agenda. But don't lead people on to think that you're straight and you're not.
Bro, we found one, bro. You heard all that stuff you talked about? You found one, bro. We found us a star. Yo, Queen, you mind if I say something to what you just said, though? All right, so the two things, right? The first thing is, I'm hard and I know it, and I don't put up no front about it. But it's not for the reason why people think, right? Yeah, I'm hard. I'm hard like shoe leather, because I'm worn down. I've been through so much in my life, right, that it made me tough. Like I'm a product of two very young parents, right, who argued all the time around me as a kid. And so when I saw that, and me and my sister and brother saw that, we thought that was normal because we saw it consistently. And you know how, like, when you see something consistently, you think it's normal, but then when you get older, you find out that it's not. Right. So, you go through how you find out that some things you go through are not normal. And then maybe you get picked on, or maybe you got to prove yourself. And I was like the move around kid. Like, my parents were young, and so they had rent issues. So about every year and a half, every 2 years, we move into certain places, living with my grandmother, or always moving around, splitting up the family, all these different things. So I had to make friends all the time. Like, you know, you come home from school and you see a bunch of boxes and you're like, okay, I already know what this is. We already been through this like 4 times already. And you like 12 years old. Right. And then so you go through all these things that make you tough. Right. And it's not like you're born. It's not like Gladiator where you just wake up one thing and you just feel you were Leonidas. It's not that. Right. It's just all these things. And then, you know, you go through the thing when a young woman is trying to figure out who she is as a person at 23. She trying to find out all the answers. But at the same time, you got like a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old, and then you start blaming a 4 or 5-year-old for stuff like you just like your daddy, and saying little stuff like that, and it just started to make you as a kid. It makes you pick sides.
Right.
Like I like my daddy. Why my mama talking like that? Oh, I love my mama. What that man doing to my mom? You know what I'm saying? It kind of make you. It kind of gets you in that mindset where you're say 12 years old and you're trying to start to find a way out. Like, how do I get out of this? All they do is argue every time I come home, and then they start making me do man stuff. Like, you 12 years old now, you got to do man stuff. Like when it snow, go outside and shovel some snow. We need some money, right? So now you're doing all these man things. You 12 years old, and you can't even enjoy being a kid and growing up. And it puts you in that mindset where it toughens you up before you're supposed to be toughened up.
Yeah.
And the other, but to the other point that you made about sexuality and how some sexuality is not accepted, it's hard. I'm one that, you know, I like women. I've been with the same lady for 30 years, right? So but I've been around people that have been on the fence, like trying to figure out their sexuality, right? Like they trying to figure out what they like and what they don't like, what feels natural to them and what doesn't feel natural. And then they experiment, they try something, they don't like it. And then they're like, does that make me gay if I tried it and I didn't like it? Right. And then there are some that tried stuff and loved it and they realize that's what it is, but then it's not socially accepted. So now they have to hide it from everybody because in a world that embraces differences, this world doesn't really, we don't embrace differences. Like we embrace certain differences. Like you'll see somebody with green eyes and you're like, oh, wow, their eyes are pretty because it's different. But if their sexuality is different, you'd be like, oh, wait a minute, nah. We was talking about eyes, bro. Now you talking about something else. Nah, we can't talk with you. You know what I'm saying? It's those type of things. Like we accept differences to an extent, right? Like if somebody buys, like if everybody on the block has a Chevy, and then all of a sudden somebody on the block gets the big Escalade, you're like, wow, they got the Escalade. You know what I'm saying? It's different, so we accept that. But Try can attest to this. Try, what if one of your closest friends come out and be like, hey, Try, all these years, man, I've been, every other weekend when I've been going out of town, I've been seeing my boyfriend in Boston. And you're like, oh, God.
I've had like cousins and friends that came out, and I mean I don't look at them any different. I look at them the same. Like, you still my cousin.
Right.
What you do in your bedroom is your business. So I'm not gonna judge them and look at them any differently.
Yeah, that's like my niece. My niece is 18. I knew before she came out the closet that she was gay. Right. And when she finally decided to come out, I was happy that she finally came out the closet. I was excited. I was more than ecstatic. You know what I'm saying? But coming from a family that's so religious, my grandfather was like kind of on the fence. It didn't change his love for her, but he had to understand, like, this is who she is.
Right.
I'm bisexual. Been bisexual since I was about 10. Now I'm more into looking at women than dating them.
Right.
I like to look. I don't no longer like to touch. I had a girlfriend before I started dating boys when I was in high school.
Right.
Broke my heart, so I stopped dating women.
Okay.
So, you know, I accept people because I feel like that's not my place to judge. That's for the man upstairs to judge. We know what the books be saying about homosexuality. You know, I feel like everybody deserves to love who they want to love. That's their preference. Um, but even when you were talking about your upbringing, I relate to that a lot. Not with my parents being young, but my parents were drug addicts. I was raised by my grandparents. I had to grow up real quick. My mom had got sick in the early 2000s. So life was a little different when she got sick. She went from being on drugs to being sick. But I was telling my friends like the little stuff that she was able to do, like we'd play tea sets and go shopping every now and then. Like those stuff I remember, but I did have to grow up a lot quicker than most kids my age. I took care of my mom for over 10 years. My mom died in 2021 after her battle with COPD. She was 57.
Yeah, I'm sorry
And
for that.
you know, she's
Wow, she was 57. She was
yeah,
young. Try see what I be telling y'all, bro. I be,
Yeah.
hey man, 57. That's a
like
lot of us in that age range, man. Like 55, 56, 57. We see or hear about some of the brothers and sisters in our community that pass away.
Yeah.
And 57 to some seems very old. But when 57 is like a year and a half away, you like,
Man.
oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. So just
That's
watching my
why I
mom
dislike
suffer.
Usher.
Yeah, I had to grow up quick. You know, my older brother Jamel, he passed away in 2018 from asthma. When he went away for his first time ever getting arrested, doing that 4.5 bid, it was just me and my little brother. So now I not only had to be the big sister, but I also had to kind of take on the parent role too,
Right.
for him to make sure that he's up for school. When he had his first little part-time job, make sure that he got up during the day. 'Cause my mom was in and out the hospital a lot. So I get that upbringing of having growing up a lot quicker. I did move around a lot too growing up. It was just a real crazy time. And I tell people you never know a person's circumstance until you hear their story. And I'm very big on advocating for children and girls in the urban community because a lot of them I share the story. I was a teen mom. I had my first kid at 18. So I relate a lot to the younger crowd because a lot of them do struggle. And I wish a lot of times I tell my friends, like, I wish I had parents to take care of me. I'm tired of being an adult. Shit ghetto.
Right.
Like these kids take advantage of what I wish I still had. Like I see the way sometimes these kids talk to their mom. I'm like, damn, I wish I could pick up the phone and call my mother. I wish I could just walk in her room and tell her I love her.
Right.
And you got the most precious thing right now on this earth, and you're taking so much advantage of them. And I think that's something that also we can also talk about in the future is better communication with parents and the upbringing of these children because they're just unruly.
I think you take advantage of people if you trust some of the patterns they exhibit. Right. But like sometimes like I can take advantage of Triborough. Right. I take advantage of Triborough. No lie, I lean on him. Like when we do shows together on other topics, right? So we'll say me and Tri we'll talk about music. And I'll take him for granted because I know that he's a music encyclopedia. I don't even have to prepare for the show. Don't prepare for the show. I just show up, click the button, show up. Because I know what I don't know, Try got me. And I understand that. It's like that test of, you know how you can stand in front of somebody and fall backwards?
Right.
Trusting the person behind you got you. That's what it, and I think that's what it is with kids not understanding that the person that they trust is flesh and bone, just like them. And one day the flesh and bone is gonna pass away, ain't always gonna be there. And the person that you trust is preparing you for that day that you have to spread your wings and fly away on your own, because at some point you are gonna be the person that a younger generation is gonna be able to trust, just like you trusted the older generation. Right.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like granddaddy talk, but it is what it is though. Right. It is what it is. Like we've all been in those situations where we depended on somebody, and at times maybe even took them for granted because we felt like they were going to be there forever. And then when that resource is not around, maybe that person's not around, you realize that damn, paying my phone bill by myself is hard. or I got to pay the car payment every month. When you have like when you have those decisions, like do I, like with this job that I have right now, do I really need a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom apartment in Manhattan, even though it's really nice, knowing I can't afford it? I can maybe pay for it 2 months. Or do I get this 2-bedroom, 1-bath until I can do better? And the immature parts of us will say, yo, Manhattan is fire, son. I mean, I got the 5 bedrooms. You don't even need 5 bedrooms. You got 5. And I'm just saying in general, because some people may need. I'm just saying in general, when you buy yourself, you don't need no 5 for what? To walk in there and look at them and then walk back out.
That's a waste of electricity.
And a waste of resources, and then
waste of money.
Yeah, and then that's why you understand, like when you were little and they were telling you, like, hey, turn that light off when you come out that room. Put the top back on that. Put the top back on that drink.
Mm-hmm.
Put that tie back on that bread. You know what I'm saying? To get you to get in that mindset to take care of yourself and all that stuff. So
I was telling one of my friends, I said, I thank God with my apartment that I'm in currently that all my utilities are covered in my rent, because the job I got suck ass. I don't know how I pay the light, gas outside of my phone bill, the cable bill. Man, listen, I'd be like, I guess we ain't got no license month, bro, because this job ain't paying shit. Like, I told my friend, I said, we want to grow so bad to just be able to curse, to have sex when you want to. Somebody won't tell you nothing. This adult life is ghetto. I don't like paying bills. I don't like the shit that come with it.
Right.
I'm glad I got a job that I got to clock in for every day. Like, no. That's how we tell these kids, I'm like, y'all got it made because y'all parents are taking care of you. Like, y'all able to still live at home. And y'all take your little paycheck, may help pay this bill. But it's mainly yours. You ain't got no real adult responsibility, man. I wish I lived like that at 30. Should I need to call my daddy so I can move into his shit at this point. I'm tired of living, tired of paying bills and shit.
Yeah. And they keep coming too.
Right.
Bills is relentless. Like, damn. But you know what though? When the social media stuff jump off, you probably won't be having these questions. Unless your little bills become big bills, then ain't no advice me and Tribert can give you on that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you start balling every level you go up, you ball above that level. Ain't nothing nobody else can tell you.
Now, see, I'm not cheap, but I like to look for coupons. I'm a coupon head. I'm a sales type of person. I feel like I don't know how these people they like this lavish stuff. I'm like, that's like that money to go to putting your kids to college. You know how expensive college is? You know how much student debt I got right now that I don't even owe it? Like, come on, that money could be saved for mad stuff. Like, and you are just wasting it on Birkins and Balenciagas and Lamborghinis and shit. My son said, when he get rich, he gonna buy a Lamborghini. I said, I wish you would spend $3.4 million on a goddamn car. I'll snuff you.
A Lamborghini.
I would snuff you.
A Lamborghini to drive around Staten Island? Nah, no thanks. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? A Lamborghini. I'm in South Carolina. A Lamborghini to drive? Nah, no thank you.
Right.
But you know what though? To the point that you made, like I have student loan debt too, right? And I know and I'm sorry for getting away from the topic that you mentioned, but since you mentioned it, like I have trouble. I took out, so I got a $20,000 college bill to get a $30,000 a year raise, and then once I started down the road, once I made the commitment, the job went away. Right, so the job went away. So now now I'm stuck. Like, do I continue down this road and hope another job appears? Like, or do I go out on this thing on my own? Do I stop depending on entities and do this thing myself?
Yeah.
But the $20,000 college bill is still there, because the thing about being a lifelong learner is the more stuff you learn, the more stuff you realize you don't know. As a lifelong learner, the more stuff you learn, the more windows open up in your mind to receiving other stuff, right? And so you want to learn. Some of these things intrigue you, whether it's just a case study, whether it's a line of business, whether it's some historical event that led one thing to another, whether it's stock market, whether it's civil studies, and all these things. Once you go down that road, you realize, man, there's a world out here of stuff I don't know. And if you're one of those people that don't like not knowing stuff, you get in that mode of always trying to learn stuff, whether it's formal, meaning institution, or whether it's informal, you do the study on your own, internet, TV shows, books, whatever it is. You're like, you absorb all this stuff. And so, like, when you mentioned the going back to school, man, so I got the bill. I think I got it down to like $12,000, and that job, that avenue, because of COVID, all that stuff went away. So now, you know how you have Queen. I don't know if you've ever been through this, right? But you ever been through the thing where you have like empty paper, like you have some college and some stuff, and you can't use it. You know what I'm saying? I think a few of us have that. Like, the learning exercise itself, learning the stuff is a life-changing event. But then when you're talking about applying it, you're like, I should be able to walk into any building in Soho and be like, hey, man, listen, I'm the man for the job. Right? But nah, the world has changed. That's where I am with it. When you said that, it was like, so Queen put a rock in my shoe. Actually, I don't have any shoes on right now, but probably I'll get to saying what I mean. It's a thing where it's like, dang, is that what I did too? Trying to improve myself in one area, but then I may not have improved in another area. Like, I may have improved as an intellectual, as a person. I'm smarter, and I have paper to back that up. But now financially, I have more debt. So I improved in one area and maybe fell back a little bit in another area. Y'all ever go through that?
Of course. It's like, so like when I first graduated high school in 2012, I graduated IUP diploma, which is special education. And they rewrote basically how you can go to college. So they basically said that because I had this IUP diploma, I wasn't smart enough to go to college. I was smart enough to get a job. So when I started looking for colleges, I was saying 2016, I was pregnant with my third child. I found a college, ASA college, that allowed me to get my GED and my degree. In between that, I lost my brother. I got pregnant again. Mom died. By the time I was about to graduate, I had 6 credits. I finished my degree in 2022. But just walking away with not only my GED, but my associates, it was just weird because it's like, I already went to high school. Why do I gotta do this again? Right. But I tell people when I went to picking my major, I picked the major where I know there'll be no layoffs. Right. Everybody going to like criminal justice. I can work anywhere with the degree that I have. It's just how big of the level you want to go. The higher you want to rank in criminal justice, the more degrees you have to make that money. And I'm shooting for federal. My goal is to have my doctorate by 35. That is my goal.
That's a very, very lofty goal. Even and I say that I'm co-signing the journey, right? I'm co-signing the journey because I know it's a lofty goal. Because just going back to school when you're out of your 20s is tough, right? Because life is not the same. You are not the same person at 30 that you were at 17, right? So the fire and the energy that's there that you basically dedicated to yourself maybe is not there, because now there are, like, for instance, Party of Five was my life. Hey, you remember that show
Yeah.
Party of Five?
I remember that. Yeah.
Like every day I woke up, I had to think about 5 people,
Man.
right? Every day I woke up, there were 5 people I legit had to make sure that was straight. When I was 17, I ain't give a shit about nobody. When I was 17, I ain't care about myself.
Yeah.
But when you have to wake up and you thinking about, all right, I wake up, let me make sure the house be straight because when everybody else get up, it's gonna be chaos in here. Right. So now you got, kids, they don't care. They care, but they don't understand like the structure that it takes in order to like be a successful adult because they ain't never done it. And a lot of times, no matter how many grown folks you have around you, you still don't have successful adults around you. Like a lot of times the stuff that you're trying to build up, some of the adults around you are tearing it down. You know what I'm saying? And maybe accidentally, like maybe they're not, trying to tear it down on purpose. Like you trying to get your kids to go to school. Don't be like, man, stay focused. Like with me, I didn't focus in school when I was at that age. I was gifted. Like I could see stuff and learn it. But if you gave me homework, I wasn't gonna study. Wasn't taking no books home, right? And I wasn't doing none of that. Like in the 80s, I wasn't taking no books home. I ain't have no book. What I need a book bag for? I ain't carrying no books. You know what I'm saying? But then when you get older and you realize that you have a talent and you go see an employer and they're like, I don't care nothing about your dream. Sweep these floors and make sure the floors is mopped before we turn these lights off. And you're like, but I want to be an attorney. I don't give a shit about you wanting to be a lawyer. You better mop them floors. And you thinking like, oh boy, this is your wake up call. Like, dang, I should have.
Yeah.
And the mopping the floors thing is just my wake up call was the military. Like I'm a military veteran, so I joined the army out of high school to buy some time to figure out who I was going to be as a person. And during that time, I learned that in general, people don't care about your journey; they have their own journey they trying to figure out. So.
Yeah.
Her dad was in the military, right?
My dad is an Army vet. Never really got into much details about where he served at, but it's just a fascinating. Like I wanted to go into the National Guard to baptize my kids, but because of my asthma, they're not gonna, take a chance.
Asthma is a real thing too, man. Asthma is a real thing. Try one of these days. I want to do a show on medical conditions, not just asthma, but some of the medical conditions that affect the Black community, like lupus,
Mhm.
like diabetes, like asthma. Some things that we probably need to talk about.
I have that in my family on diabetes. My grandmother had it. She passed away. My aunt had it. She passed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
My brother died from asthma in 2018 at 26. He suffered from asthma for a real long time, real bad asthma.
Right.
His death was very sudden. And it's just sad because life insurance don't cover, a lot of life insurance don't cover respiratory illness. So trying to bury my brother to give him a proper service, we wound up cremating him just like my mother. We cremated her too because no life insurance, But
Oh, she just put a rock in my shoe. I don't even have no shoes on.
I got a spouse that I've been married to for 9 years. I got life insurance, accident policies, all that. Okay,
So, that's one of the things I do. That's one of the things I do for a living. Even right now at this moment, so I'm gonna be on the telephone probably at 7:45 Eastern time doing Medicare and things like that for retirees and things of that sort, stuff that'll bore y'all half to death. But I honestly don't know why. To me, I'm not pointing the finger at either one of you two, right? But I don't know why in the Black community we don't invest in things heavily like life insurance. Now, everybody has their own reasons. Maybe it's the financial part, what they can't afford, or maybe they just don't believe in it. That might be another thing. But you're not gonna tell me every time I see you, you talking about the Jordan such and such come out next month. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to Connecticut to stand in line, and you driving all the way to Connecticut to buy a pair of $420 shoes, and you can't afford $50 for life insurance. To me, that's irresponsible. What I would have done is drove all the way to Connecticut, bought Jordans, but maybe bought the $350 ones, and used the rest of that money for life insurance. Now, if I had to have it, I can compromise. But the fact that you were you the primary person and you just leave the queen with all these bills because the funeral don't stop. After the funeral, life is gonna go on. That light bill is still gonna come at the same time every month. All these bills, and then to say, hey, queen, listen, you got all these bills by yourself now. And you're like, And Queen, I know you said you covered. I'm just using Queen as an example because Queen already said she covered. I'm just saying, just in general, just to say, like, hey, you know what? You got not only did such and such, and I'm not spreading this. That I'm not getting too specific because I don't like talking about death and all that stuff, like I mentioned earlier when we first started. But such and such, then transition. And he was bringing in 6 figures, and now those 6 figures gone away, and Social Security cut a check for $254, right? And you thinking, well, $254? What I'm gonna do for? And then now you in this thing like, well, you know what? Maybe I got to start dating and find somebody to help me pay these bills, and then it ain't even about love no more. It's about paying these bills.
Yep. Everybody has to think about not only themselves, but the burden they leave their families that can't bury them properly.
Yeah.
Like, I even said, like, even if the life insurance, you can't get life insurance because they don't cover a lot of medical issues.
Yeah.
Put money away. That way you can be buried. Because if you leave it up to me, I'm going to just put you in Pot of Hill, not give a fuck. I don't care. It's like,
is that in the Bronx?
Go for it.
Try to know how much I love the Bronx. Try I'm not even from the Bronx, right? I used to like spend summers over there, like every other summer. I spend like a large chunk of my summer in the Bronx with my grandfather. Pee Wee used to drive the bus in the Bronx. So
as adults, we got to be responsible. Like for me, it was so more for my kids. Like I said, me being still legally married, my husband has no access to none of the fucking money I got. Everything is tied up to my kids and my brother's name. But for him, I got access to the whole. My name on every fucking thing. Got to. It's a difference, you see? Like, I'm securing my future for my kids because I need to make sure that, God forbid something happened to me, all 4 of my children are well taken care of. Make sure that I don't leave them with no debts, no way of how to figure out how they're going to bury me. Like, nope, I don't want to leave that for my children. That's why I'm building this generational wealth to break this cycle, to make sure that they're comfortable, but also showing them that hard work pay off. Like, I got it out the mud by any means necessary, and I'm going to show you how to get it out the mud by any means necessary. I don't care if you do got a plastic spoon in your mouth at the moment. Like, I'm going to show you hard work and dedication and how to make sure that you're secure in life. But sometimes adults are just irresponsible. Like, if it wasn't, like, with my husband, he's not responsible. Like, I make sure, like, the life insurance policy gets paid. Like, I make sure things get done the right way. He's smart, but sometimes because he's older, my husband's 56, so it's like things like that sometimes slip his mind. But I gotta make sure that, God forbid something happens to you, I'm not scrambling around trying to figure out how I'm going to bury you because I'm not, me being me, I'm just not doing it. I'm going to just tell them, right, city burial because I ain't got money to bury you. Like, shit, I work a fucking 34-hour work week sometimes and don't even make damn near $400 by the end of the week. So no, we're not irresponsible as adults. Like, we can't do that. Even our jobs were covered under our jobs life insurance policies too.
Right.
But it's like sometimes your job might not have that life insurance policy for you. So you have to take those steps in securing yourself so that way you're not leaving your family with the burden on figuring out how they're gonna bury you, plan a nice funeral service for you, like, you know, things like that. As an adult, should always be in the back of your mind. Life is short. Life is not always promised.
Right. Right. Yeah, man. Hey, try. I like conversations like this, and I like channels like this one. And so, if y'all watching this channel for the first time, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, turn all your notifications on, so that every time Queen go live, y'all will get the alert to your phone or whatever device you use, so that you can catch the conversation live, or so that you can get the reminder that you can catch it at your leisure, so that you can hear her have these conversations that relate straight to y'all. Because I know y'all like to have these type of conversations. Is the reason why you here. The reason why you here is because you like the title and you were interested in what the Queen has to say. So in order to not miss any other conversations going forward, make sure y'all check out the Queen channel, subscribe, and hit that like button and join her community. It's a new community. So don't feel embarrassed if you're the first one in the door, because it won't be like that for long. Right? It won't be like that for long. So you know, come in and be a part of the community. So 2 or 3 years down the road, you can tell everybody you was a day one.
Most definitely. All the topics all the time is not going to be serious. I like to talk about random shit. So we might start off talking about whatever the title is at the moment. Like, the title was Unlocking the Mind of a Serial Killer. And we like to jump around. I'm very, very diverse in things that I talk about. So I'm always jumping from topic to topic. Just have to follow along. I'm dyslexic, so it will never, ever be a dull moment, because I will go from talking about a box of cereal that I ate 2 days ago to talk about the donuts I ate for lunch. Like, you know, so you never know what you might get. I even talk, like I said, I'm very big on the erotic, BDSM, submission, domination. I talk about that a lot. I even like to bring out my whips and stuff here and there. So, you know, it might be a time when you tune in and I got my whip on the table.
Control.
Trying to tell you about how to use this whip on your husband or something. Like, a lot of people don't be unlocking their sexual exploitation. They think it's weird, but it's okay to be handcuffed to a bed every now and then. Shit. Okay, right? We're adults.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm gonna put ... right there, because I ain't got nothing. Try unless you got something. Try.
No.
You know what he gets out of me? I'm fucking hilarious.
So, but just real quick, I gotta get out of here so I can get some rest. But you did bring up cereal, and we have been having this conversation. Like I did, like, you know, and so in my work, everything is so serious because people's lives, you impact people's lives, right? So, okay, you know, we'll have conversations offbeat, right? So we were having a conversation about cereal and the greatest cereals of all time. Like, if you can eat one cereal for the rest of your life, and all the other ones got to go to Mars. And I was like, yo, I don't know if I can do that. I can't pick one box of cereal to eat for the rest of my life, until somebody said peanut butter crunch. And then I was like, you know what? I may be able to do. I might be able to do some cinnamon toast crunch. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Me too. I definitely.
That's my favorite thing.
So am I wrong with assuming that there may be a 3 or 4 cereal rotation that most people can get locked into without trying other cereals for the rest of their life? Am I wrong with that?
No, because I mean I've done it. I'm like my favorite would be like Frosted Flakes and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Raisin Bran. I was big on that.
Oh,
So like I have like 3 or 4 favorites. Rice Krispies when I was younger. We would add sugar to the bowl, even though I wasn't
yeah.
really supposed to do that. I had to like always watch the sugar. But
Yeah.
there's other cereals that I tried that I never liked. Like I wasn't into like Apple Jacks and Fruit Loops and
What?
so nah, I was not. I tried them. I tried like every cereal that was out there, like Golden Graham, Smacks. I tried it. It just wasn't for me. So I know like what I like, and I just stuck to that. So I could have a bowl of Frosted Flakes any day, or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and
Queen,
be good.
can we kick him out the conversation? You heard what that man said? That man said that with a straight face. He mad serious.
loves Fruit Loops. That's her favorite cereal. So Fruit Loops. I literally like if she don't got fruit, I go outside and buy her Fruit Loops. If not, she wigging out on me. Gotta have Fruit Loops in the house.
No,
she ain't try the cereal though.
Mm-mm.
Not even the Fruity Island. Not even.
Fruity Island. I tried all of them because I like as a kid I was curious. And I see they play the commercials all the time during Saturday morning cartoons. So I would I had Smurf Berry Crunch back in the 80s when the Smurfs were big.
Yeah.
And Mr. T had his own cereal, and they have like a lot of movie cereals. Ghostbusters had that.
Yeah.
So I tried them, but like right now, if I had to have a bowl, it would be Frosted Flakes or Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Right? How you eating them old man cereals, bro? Frosted
Raisin
Flakes.
Bran? You don't like Raisin Bran?
Frosted Flakes. Anything with bran in it is a no go, bro.
It was, but it's sweet though because it got the raisins. And it's healthy. So I'm eating the raisins. I love raisins, and then you got the bran, which is healthy for you.
You like dry grapes?
No, I don't like dry grapes. I mean, I like it in the cereal.
Yeah. I don't know, dog. I think cereal. So cereal to me is not sustenance; it's a treat.
Right.
It's not like I'm not going to like, yeah, if I hit this gym, man, I'm gonna eat me a box. Nah, man, I ain't.
Right.
Cereal is a treat. I don't even eat cereal. Like cereal is not even a morning thing for me. Cereal is like a
nighttime.
I'll give you an example. The other night down here, they had like what did you call it? A movie marathon coming on.
Okay.
It was like Waiting to Exhale and The Best Man.
Right.
And like these movies back to back for like 5 hours, 6 hours, right? It started at like 11, it went to like 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
And I'm a night owl, right? So I'm like, shit, The Best Man coming on. The Wood.
The Wood, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like the Wood. So the Wood was. I'm like, The Wood is coming on. Yo, I'm gonna fix me a bowl of cereal, bro, and I'm gonna sit back and watch. I think it was like The Wood and Brothers. You ever seen the movie Brothers?
I saw Brothers, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I'm gonna fix me a bowl of cereal, man, and eat me a bowl of cereal, and then fix me a thing of popcorn off the stove and put them little the seasoning you buy from the store, like the and so that's cereal for me. But in the morning, like I wake up in the morning and breakfast on the table, nah, man, I ain't gonna be able to do it. I ain't gonna be able to do
I haven't reached that level of adulthood yet. Like my kids like frozen waffles and pancakes. Like I barely cook breakfast because they don't eat it. My kids barely eat anything. Okay, it's like let's make this straight. My kids are very extreme, picky kids. My 4-year-old, you let her, she ate a whole box of cereal one night.
Right.
Her doctor is not complaining. My 7-year-old think that she can survive with whatever food is in the refrigerator. The 12-year-old sometimes don't even eat, or he eats the same shit, noodles or whatever is in the refrigerator too. Like
pizza bites.
Right.
If he a gamer, he probably eating pizza bites right now.
Yeah, he like pizza bites, like because I'm Muslim. I like halal beef patties. Tower Islands have some best halal beef
Muslim?
patties.
I didn't know that.
Not traditional Muslim. I got tattoos.
Oh wow!
The Muslims got tattoos and piercings, and so
we should have started the conversation. But you know what though? Just because you start a conversation in one place doesn't necessarily mean you have to end the conversation. I guess we can talk about it at
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I
But
definitely dive into my religion and my persona.
right. Yeah, when I tell people like, okay, so I'm Christian, right? Very, like, because I grew up in a um the whole Christian background of Southern Baptist. My parents very Southern Baptist in the church. Now, mind you, when I say their religion is one thing, and how we grew up is another thing, right? So when I say they are Southern Baptists, don't get it twisted like they were in church 5 days a week. Nah, it was just whatever. And then plus they were young too. So, but yeah, man, that'd be an interesting conversation too.
yeah.
Just about how people look at us once they find out who we are as people, right? Like once you talk to them about your belief system, how people views about you change, right? Like when people see me and they find out that I'm super duper religious, but I don't pour it on people. Like how some people that are a little bit religious and they just saturate you with their religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Right? Like with me and my belief system, I feel like mine is personalized to me. And the only way I look to impact others is if others come to me to be impacted. Right. Like I don't pour that on people. But I think what happens is in our society, people try one of these days. I want to do,
Mm.
if we can, I want
Okay.
to show with you about power and
Okay.
and how people are obsessed with power, even if
Right.
it's even if it's a thimble full of power. If they get a thimble full of power, how they feel like they can control everybody in their sphere.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how say somebody in your family has a better job than everybody else. How do you feel like now they the boss?
Right.
They ain't even the boss of their job, but they want to be the boss of the family
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like they make $200,000 a year and everybody else is making 70,000. They feel like they the boss because they smarter than everybody or whatever.
Right.
So,
Okay.
but on that note, everybody, I'm gonna get out of here
All
and
right.
and try to get some sleep, man. I'm gonna wish both of y'all a good night, and for
Thank you.
everybody
You too.
for the first time, make sure that you leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Come check out Queen. So we're doing a show next Friday night. Next
Yes.
Friday. So next Friday night at um next Friday night at was it 9? I'm gonna see if I have it pulled up. Let me because I did a I think I I think I may have scheduled it already. Let me see here. I'm gonna before I get out of here, I'm just gonna go here to YouTube and then to go to this. And I probably should have did this before I probably should have did this before. Where is so your channels? Okay. Your videos. The internet got super slow when I tried to do it just now. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna see if I can. There it is. I found it. Yeah, shareable link and put it here. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hey, Queen, you mind if I share? I just want to share this with everybody on the screen. You don't mind, do you? It's
No.
it's safe. It's safe. I'm not gonna put nothing crazy up. So let me see if I'm allowed to share. There it is. So that is gonna be us. So that's going to be our joint next Friday, everybody. So next Friday, September 20th. So we're going to do a mental health awareness show. Your main man, the number one chief rock, Uncle Freezy, and Queen and I are going to do a show. I don't know how long that show is going to last. So we have the outlines of a show for everybody. So if you're seeing this, go to that channel and subscribe so that you can get all the alerts and stuff. And make sure you do all the alerts on this channel, because what we'll probably do is simulcast it to both. Queen, is that the plan? Have it be on both channels? Okay.
Yes.
So we'll have it be on both channels. And then that way you'll know where to find all your favorite content and all of that stuff from. But on that note, I'm gonna get out of here, everybody. Thank you for having me. Wow, I like that right there. You see that view? Okay. Uncle Freezy got a piano. When did Uncle Freezy get a piano? Yo, you surprising me too. So
Wow.
hey, but thank y'all for having me, man. Y'all have a good night, all right?
You too, man. Thank you.
All right, peace, y'all.
Yeah. See, that was great.
Yes.
I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Hey.
All right. So, yeah, most definitely. That was Uncle Freezy. This is Tribal. I'm Queen K. Definitely next Friday, tune in. We're definitely going to bring mental health awareness to the front for it, because, as of September 1st to the end of the month, it's Suicide Prevention Month. We're looking to bring it to the forefront, especially for the minority communities, the LGBTs, Hispanic communities, because it's a taboo subject. So please tune in. It's very dear to my heart. I just want to make sure that you guys know that there's a safe space. People out there listening, we understand and we care. I joke around a lot. I talk about a lot of random shits, but I do sometimes take a lot of shit serious. And I just want to make sure that not only the adults, but the youth that's coming up post-COVID have a safe space, because they transition from going outside to everyday life to not being able to go outside to now they back outside, and a lot of their mental health wasn't taken serious. So let's prioritize our children and their mental health, prioritize us as adults and our mental health, the men in our life, the moms in our lives, because postpartum depression is a real thing, postpartum psychosis is a real thing. So we just have to be there. So tune in next Friday, We love you guys. Stay safe. Stay off drugs. Stay off alcohol. Bad for your liver. Go to the Tribal. It's bad for the liver. I don't mind. I can't drink because I just had my tooth pulled. But my birthday is at the end of the month. It's about to be Libra season. Big Libra gang. I be 31. I plan on getting plastered. Then going to work the following day. Gotta go to work. Still gotta be an adult. Yeah. We're gonna make this hangover work. So definitely drink responsible. Do not drink and drive. Do not get high and drive. Please think of yourself and others out there in the world. We love you guys. Have a good night. Good morning. I don't know. It's like almost 3 o'clock. Yeah. Good night, guys.